RTD Live Talk, late night talk show. We are live. Excited to be back for a little back and forth. Wanted to check in this evening, relatively late, but yet right on time. Hope everyone's doing well. And wanted to kind of open up tonight to find out what's on your mind. So there's all types of subject matter to discuss. I'm sure we'll get to a little bit of everything, but I want to open it up and find out what's going on. So give it a minute before I share a couple of things across my attention today, and then we'll go from there. So it won't be on long this evening. Just wanted to check in and get a chance to hear from the audience there a little bit. So we got McLovin. So that's Purge 2020. We got the pothead. We got low blood pressure. Said, Mike, you on yet? Yes, I am. So yeah, I had to set some last minute things up on my end. And Spirit King, how you doing, my friend? So let's get right into it. And so we got Human for Earth says, could the U.S. reopen at a worse time? But the question is, what would be a better time? And so, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, I quit, apart from the fact that they, mainstream media is attempting to create the narrative of a second wave. I don't think that, there'll actually be a second wave because it's going to be a continuous from what we experienced in March and April and May. So it's going to be an ongoing thing. So mainstream media, once again, wants to paint a very dire picture to keep people on guard and keep us on the defensive end and keep us a little scared. Michael, how you doing, my friend? We got Feet of the X, Hell from Cali. They really are pushing this. Yeah. So the narrative is to get this second wave thing going. And so, of course, it happens to be the states that reopen first. So whatever it is, we're gonna be living with this for some time now. For those that believe it's real, for those that do not. So it's one of the things where it's not going away; it's going to be here. So my stance is just learn to live with it, learn to deal with it, and keep moving. And so, but what else? Let me see here. It'll be the second peak of the first wave. Okay, so that's a different way of looking at it. I want the Fed to bail me out of my credit card debt, max them out on low blood pressure. You've been maxing out those credit cards for a while now. So if you haven't been paying them things down or paying them off, I'm sure you're sitting on some heavy debt load right there. It says Tupac turned over in his grave. See a Mike without white. Oh man. Oh man. Reopen is on their time. Yes, it is. It's so yeah, so it's going to be more to be continued. So it's not going anywhere. My friend says T-Mobile is down. Something is going down. T-Mobile is down. Max out credit cards. Bitcoin here soon. Yeah, that's if depending on what credit card company you're with, they may not let you acquire cryptocurrency. I remember doing that. Was it last year? And they stopped me cold turkey. White gold is racist. Okay, so I'm going to start off today, and of course, as always, want to open the phone lines up and find out what are some things you're keeping your eyes on and what has come across your attention that's worthy of bringing up to the audience today. Because once again, there's more news than one person can touch in a short time frame. So that's why it's good to be able to connect with you guys and get your take on what's going on. So let me see. A lot of comments here. It says the CVD is a hoax. Nice to make you laugh. Appears to be statistical trickeries. Test twice as much. Yeah, testing. I called it today. Testing, tagging, tracing. They want to test you so that they can eventually tag you, and then they're going to trace you. That's the 3 T's. And so, of course, it's all part of a game plan, of course, but yet it's not on the hush. It's the mainstream narrative is using that as well as the riots and protests. And once again, there's another individual, just killed at the mercy of the cops, and so that's another issue. So, it's so didn't want to start off with that stuff today, but we'll see. But anyway, so I want to just share with you a couple articles here because Larry Kudlow today mentioned that by after the 4th, they would like to actually have out that next stimulus package. And of course, they're dropping more and more details as to what will be in it, what will not be in it. And of course, the first thing they mentioned and wanted to cut off is the extra unemployment that has benefited, as they said, I think they threw out 58% of the unemployed are making more money now by not working than they were when they were working, which means that it's good to see all those individuals there that are making more from home were already service sector, low income paying job, low wage jobs. So if that percentage is correct, 58%, that's an extremely large number, especially a lot of those businesses that those individuals work for will more than likely not be looking to hire a full staff load, given the fact they're going to be operating at half their capacity, give or take. And then on top of that, the shift in the whole job paradigm is underway right now. So that 58% will definitely grow, because once again, we're only literally 90 days into this whole the dominoes falling, and it hasn't really even hit full effect yet. Okay, so let me get to some articles here, and then on top of that, I'll open up the phone lines so you guys can share your thoughts. And so here's something that caught my attention this past weekend, and it happens to be about looks like the next relief package was designed to be more of a manufacturing infrastructure package. So we had three different numbers thrown out there. We had the House referring to the HEROES Act, I believe, which they wanted to throw out $3 trillion, which would keep the 600 unemployment, as well as some money for the states to bail them out and things like that. Then we have the President Trump mentioning a week ago they were considering asking for $1 trillion. And then all of a sudden now, a week or two later, now we have Trump wants at least $2 trillion more in the CV relief, advisor says. And so one thing I found interesting about this when I heard about this past weekend was it was listed as the manufacturing package. So the goal from the initial information was to spur manufacturing and to get things going back here in America, and to incentivize businesses to bring stuff back home here. And so once again, it's going to be one of those things where the funds will be issued, but yet they will not reach their intended destination, because it will be it'll be disclosed information. And so 3 billion, 2 trillion, 1 trillion, unlimited funds is on the way. So, but yet they want to definitely make sure that people who actually work will not be getting more stimulus than they actually need to get back out into the workforce. So that's one article I wanted to touch on. And then also on another note, the mainstream lending program started today. And so one thing I found to be interesting about this program is that according to Mr. Mnuchin, they want a little bit more transparency. And so they're going to be publishing, let me see, lending. Let me pull this up here. They're going to look to publicize the people or the companies that will be getting funds, so they can help monitor and make sure the funds are going to where they have to go. And so it's one of those things where the mainstream lending program, which happens to be one of the more newer lending facilities on top of all the other ones they have, but yet with the PPP program, they refused to come out and say what they were giving and to who was borrowing and how much and things like that. So I wonder what's the big difference between the PPP, which was information they could not share because it was predominantly the too big to fail banks, I'm assuming. And with this mainstream lending program, they're going to be more than transparent and showing the world who actually gets what according to, the information they're sharing with us. But once again, the funds, I think it's $600 billion. $600 billion program with 3 separate lending facilities. So, lending. They're lending to businesses that will not be able to operate at full capacity. Therefore, they will not be able to pay back those debts. Therefore, they're going to lose their business and everything else. So, are you surprised? But this is just some things happening in the mail that I want to, or not the mail, but the news I want to get out there. Okay, so with that being the case, a couple articles, but I'll open it up and stop ranting as always and let you guys share what's on your mind. What are some things you guys keep an eye on? Let me know. Give me a call. Let's get the phone lines open and so I can hear from everybody. And also, how's your weekend? And I assume all the states that are fully up and running. Have you guys, gone out, and what are you seeing out there in the streets? I this past weekend went to 2 different restaurants, and the experience was very, very, very. It was a pointless experience. You couldn't go through the front door without a mask on, but she said once you get past and you're seated, you can take your mask off. So I'm thinking like, whatever. Didn't understand that. And then another restaurant, walked right in, no mask, sat down, had a good time. And, yeah, felt normal in a sense. But all right, so he says Trump should go back to Monday Night Raw. I imagine that's probably in his future plans more than likely. Low blood pressure. So why not 5 trillion? Because why not 5 trillion? Because they want to make sure that they don't throw out too much too fast. Because we all know, everybody in the alternative media realm know that there will be no limit to the amount of funds they'll be willing to throw out there, and they want to ease their way into it because clearly what we're experiencing is going to be an ongoing thing. So it's not like 1 trillion here, 2 trillion here will actually make much of a difference because as of right now, the Federal Reserve has been more than accommodative for the entire monetary system. All nations, all central banks are in on this. So everyone's going down at the same time, and they're dependent upon the dollar as the last leg of currency. So it's interesting. But here we have 26 trillion. And so, yeah, it's still early. It is still early. It says when they name a act is actually the complete opposite. Bar light 100%. And so we got, I'm waiting to hear more on the Boost Act. That's the act of all acts, ACTS, that will really tell the true state of the labor market as well as the retail sector and you name it, because that's when they're going to look to give out universal basic income. And so it's coming. It's just a matter of how they're going to try to package it up and at what point. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Brando Commando. How's it going?
I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm driving. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. What's on your mind tonight?
All right. So, I had a similar experience to you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm on team refuse to wear a face mask.
Yeah.
I've been keeping track of the places that care and the places that don't. And, the discrepancies between them and the people who are giving me some pushback, I'm giving them an earful of information.
Yeah. So you're giving them information when they push back, you say?
A couple places give me some pushback,
yeah,
but most of them don't.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems to depend on the size of the store. Like the really large stores don't seem to care.
Yeah.
But like the medium to small stores kind of care.
Yeah.
Like the liquor store gave me a hard time yesterday.
Really? Oh man.
The liquor store, they had people lining up on the sidewalk. There was like 20 people on the sidewalk, and they're only letting 13 in the store at a time.
Wow, they're very strict. So they're trying to stick to the protocol as much as they can. So yeah, I've witnessed that as well. The big boys don't care, the small ones do. Like today, I went into a shoe store, bought a pair of shoes, and I put my shoes on the counter. And ladies like, can you please back up to that red line? And so I'm looking, the line was way back. I'm like, man, I'm not about to walk way back there, but I did just out of respect. So. But yeah, that was my first time being told to go back behind the line. She did it with like she was mad at me. I'm like, okay, well, I was with my shoes. So yeah, hey man.
So it's like store policy, So I'm trying to evaluate like my rights as like a human being versus like a store policy.
Yeah.
And I bring it to their attention, and I make up an excuse, something like I had asthma, I can't wear a face mask. And they're like, but there's a sign on the door. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about the sign, man. I had asthma, I can't wear a face mask.
Yeah. And
you see, they're like a deer in headlights. Like when they have to make like a real judgment call, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's either you lose the business or you let the person in and hope no one see that and the trend starts from that. So yeah, and so once again, summer is not even here yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how this continues on throughout the summer. So hey man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your experiences.
Yeah, Mike, hey, you got to educate people as you go. If their policies are wishy-washy, you got to point them out and say, hey, this is bullshit. You guys can't act like idiots.
Hey, I hear you, my man. Appreciate you.
All right, Mike.
All right, be good. Yeah.
Right,
he said, call him on BS. That was good stuff, man. Appreciate you for calling in. So, yeah, let me hear from you guys, man. What's your experiences thus far this past week? And so do we have anybody out there watching right now that's in one of those states that's apparently having an uptick in numbers? And so I actually saw a couple of medical professionals talking about the hospitals are being bombarded. So once again, here in Michigan, that's not really the case, but yet we're not one of the states that's going through a an increased second wave or whatever. So curious to find out if you're experiencing some things in your state. Anybody in the medical profession out there want to call in, feel free to let us know. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure. Corpus Christi. How you doing?
Doing good, my friend. How you doing?
Good. Hey, Mike, I'm waiting for the first wave. I still haven't seen it, man. You talk about second wave.
So Corpus Christi.
The first wave's gonna hit me. I'm waiting. I'm on the beach waiting for the first wave.
Yeah, so Corpus Christi is all fine and well, according to what you see, huh?
Look, man, look what happened. My wife was gonna take. I got 6 kids. I gotta take them to the dentist, right?
Uh-huh.
Only, but 2 of them are babies, so the dentist only sees the older kids. So I have 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
And they want us to wait in the car, and then they call them, and then they'll text them because they don't let you wait in the waiting room, I guess.
Yeah.
Only doctor's offices are like that. It's not everywhere. It's just, so my wife is like, we ain't going to jump through hoops just so we have to pay you.
Yeah.
I said, I'll take her to Mexico, and in Mexico, they'll take us off for a quarter of the price, and they'll let us all sit together, and there'll be a guy that comes in, in the door, and he'll give us he'll sell us food and bubble gums and beers,
Yeah.
and I don't even have to wait. You know what I mean? It's like a party,
Now, watch this. So, question for you. So, you mentioned Mexico. How far is Corpus Christi from the Mexican border?
Okay, the closest, it's about 2.5 hours. The closest city is called Progreso, or Nuevo Progreso, something like that on the Mexico side.
Yeah.
But I lived in El Paso, like $50, and that's like, we used to party. That's down the street. You could just walk to Mexico from some places.
Really? So, question for you.
Yeah, but no, where I live is about 2 hours.
So from what you know, what you hear, is the border open right now? Can people come back and forth, or is it real tight? Or do you know anything about what the border looks like right now?
It's been a while since I've been down there, Mike. I don't want to lie to you,
okay.
but so I don't know. But if you look up El Paso, there's commerce coming back and forth to that border 24 hours a day. That thing never shuts down.
Really? Okay, so I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I was always curious to find out. But hey, man.
On those borders, they have lanes that are only commercial, like big rig.
Yeah.
They have ports of entry that are only that, and they also have ports of entry because when my grandmother, before she passed, she was sick. They had her in an ambulance from Mexico, and there's an emergency lane also that's only for ambulances and firemen and like police. So they have a specific lane. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I didn't want to wear that. So, but hey, man, appreciate you calling in, man, and let me know how the dentist office stuff go. I got an appointment this week for my boy, so I'll see how that goes as well.
I canceled.
Oh, you canceled?
Like I told him. Yeah, I told my wife canceled it. I said, look, tell them it's because of COVID, because they want you to jump through hoops, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. And then you have to pay them. You have to pay them and say thank you at the end after you get screwed. No thanks. No thanks.
Oh, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you. We get this next call, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
All right, Mike. Yeah. All right. Have a good night.
Be good. Oh, man. Good one. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. What's up? It's Nathaniel calling from New York City.
Nathaniel from New York City, my friend. How you doing? Are you guys open up there yet or what?
Man, we've been open even when we was on lockdown. It wasn't really a real lockdown, but, it's just, keep your distance and wear your mask and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what's on your mind tonight, my man?
Something's been on my mind like a few weeks ago, because, you got to think outside the box with the government, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I said, didn't they outlaw wearing masks during a protest when somebody got killed by the police a couple of years ago?
I know they did in Europe. I don't know about here in the U.S. I remember in Europe seeing something like that, but because it caught me by surprise. I think it was the Yellow Jackets or something like that. But anyway, go ahead. I gotta find that out. I'm curious.
I would imagine that they did that here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was funny to me that they would say that, okay, wear a mask, and then people were assembling to protest and riot and stuff like that with masks on, and loot and stuff like that with masks on, and thinking that you would get away with looting and stuff like that and rioting, right? Burning down establishments and stuff like that. So then I thought to myself, I said, why would they allow that? And I say, hey, don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Then it dawned on me. I said, hold on, maybe they're saying everybody, it's mandatory for everybody to wear a mask, not just for the illness going around, but what if they're training the cameras to identify people, be able to identify people with the mask on, with the AI, the artificial intelligence, the facial recognition technology, to recognize people with a mask on. Maybe it doesn't just read your face; it reads your gait when you walk, your posture. You know what I mean? Your height and stuff like that, and they could identify you that way. Because there's more than one way to identify a person, right?
Yeah.
When I seen an article, I saw an article the other day that said that the guy that died the other day in Atlanta that got killed by the cop, that took the guy that took the taser, and he was locked up for DWI. The girl that burned down the Wendy's, I seen this guy Vlad TV. He put up a article showing that the girl that started the fire in Wendy's got identified by her eyebrows.
Yeah, I saw a tweet with all that information on there. So they showed a lady with but her eyes were like hazel. It was a unique color. And so the person who was, out there, doing burning something down, you could see her face and her eyes was unique. So her eyes alone gave her away. So, but yet, that proves to me my suspicion that they're training these cameras to be able to recognize us with a disguise on. Yeah.
I just want to just put that out there, to see,
Definitely.
That's it's tinfoil hat stuff, but nothing is far-fetched these days.
Man.
No. With the technology.
Yeah, so speaking of which,
that trickles down to us is 10 years removed. You know? So
now watch this. I remember watching or reading articles or whatever about that type of technology in China and how there's technology that's being used there that can use height, weight, all the circumference of the body, head size, ear, they can use more. They can use a lot of things other than just, actual your bone structure to identify you. So I'm more than confident that is something that China does have. Now, are they sharing the technology with us? Probably so. So.
Yeah, it's military grade technology usually trickles down into domestic technology, So I'm not surprised, it's 2020 and we're looking for, we thinking that we're supposed to be living like the Jetsons. In all reality, that technology is being used against us. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I agree, man. But hey, thanks for calling in, my man. Appreciate you.
All right, Mike. Keep it up, man.
Be good. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call. Yeah, so let me check in with the chat. And also, give me a call. Let me know what's on your mind. Also, if you got any thoughts or things you want to share. And so I see Barlight Broker says a little something for that white chain. Oh, my goodness. And so speaking of which, I was actually, I don't do that long, but actually looking into a gold chain. And I thought of you. Oh, man. So anyway, let me check back. So what I have, let me see. There's another article I wanted to share. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. I had another article to share. Let me find it. But it was so much stuff happening. So got a little alert earlier mentioning that the Federal Reserve, as a result of the equities futures taking a dive, starting off, markets start off a little rough. It looks like the Federal Reserve came out at about sometime in the morning and announced they're going to be buying corporate bonds directly. And so outside of all the other lending programs and ETFs and all the other things they're directly monetizing, the Federal Reserve right now they're in the game to win it and win it by buying anything possible. Therefore, propping this thing up and screwing everybody else in the meantime, man. So I wasn't surprised when I saw that. And I'm waiting now on the next little notification that the Federal Reserve will buy directly off the Dow and NASDAQ and S&P to prop things up directly. Lost a call. Give me a call back. We'll get you on here. So let me check in. It says Crypto Grease says bingo. Walmart and Target have been doing this for months. Yeah. And so that's with the big box stores not really caring, but yet the small ones. And so the small retailers that are just starting to open up. So like I mentioned earlier, the shoe store and other places like that, they're probably walking on thin ice right now from management saying, hey, we got to do everything by the book. We can't afford to have any mishaps or any lawsuits. And so, yeah. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from? How you doing, my friend? I'm doing well. What's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted everybody to know that we declared war on China back in May.
Mm-hmm. Back in May. So give me the rundown on that one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I forget what site I found it on, but if you look up United States strategic approach to the People's Republic of China,
Mm-hmm.
They sent them an official letterhead talking about we don't agree with your policies and everything, and we're gonna go our own way, and we don't want nothing to do with you, basically.
Okay.
And so it's just it reads as a letter of an act of war.
Ooh, okay. I don't think I'm familiar with that, but then also I saw something once again recently where it says something about China is looking to get back into the phase one trade deal or whatnot. They're looking to continue to buy, and so when I saw that led me to believe that they're trying to play ball or just to hush some things. So I wonder, what does that have to do with anything as far as that information you're sharing?
Now China's ditching all their bonds.
Yeah. That's been a progressive thing throughout the last couple of years.
So it sounds like you want to get back in a trade deal with me.
Yeah.
We've got to look at across the pond, because this side of the pond is messed up. It's got dirty water and everything.
Yeah. So watch this. So here's an article here that I was referring to. It says China will honor trade deal, wants better U.S. ties. And so this was, of course, given by from their Chinese official. We can go back here. But this was as of this past Thursday. So Zhu Zhangjiao, a former finance minister and cabinet advisor, said the two countries should waste no time. So I'm not sure if this should or they want to. So I'm not sure if this is an advisor speaking or actually directly from China. So not sure. But anyway, so yeah.
We got to be careful with what we read too.
Exactly.
But like I said, I try to keep it straight from the letterhead of the White House. That way I know there ain't nobody lying about it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and the other thing is that your guy was talking about them wearing masks and everything. You got to work this thing backwards and figure out that this has all been part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
All been planned. And come Friday is Juneteenth. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, I do, but I don't, man. I heard about everybody tweeting about it, but I never dived into it for myself. So give me the rundown on it.
Well, we just got to see how many black people get shot up in the churches, and we just got to see how many cops die, because that's a famous day that the slaves were free.
Okay. 1865.
And it was they were free before that, but it was the official day.
Yeah.
And then I even heard rumors of assassination on the 20th, so I don't know what to believe anymore.
Okay. So, yeah, I got it up here. It says Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, as well as Celebration Day. Celebrate is an American holiday celebrated annually on June 19th. Okay, so, yeah, heard of it, but I wasn't familiar with it. So,
yeah, it's the day the slaves that officially became free. And every day there's some kind of messing over stuff goes on, and you know how they like to operate behind closed doors. Just keep Friday in the back of your mind, and Saturday, because Saturday's Trump's supposed to talk, and like I said, I heard the word assassination attempt, so I don't know.
Now watch this. So just the fact that you heard that lets me know that it's out there like that, and so the likelihood is like if it was to come down to something like that, and you heard about it because it's out there amongst millions of people. That's a very bold move, because I'm assuming he probably heard about it too. So when they do people like that, they just go off scene. They really ain't gone. They just it's like acting. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Just another actor gone. It killed his character.
All right,
on
man.
Epstein Island.
I appreciate you calling, man.
All right, brother. Keep your head up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh man, good stuff. Yeah, so let me see here. Checking with the chat. Low Blood Pressure says, Mike, he says diapers went up 38 cents. Yeah, I'd imagine. I haven't really been paying attention to the actual sticker price of a lot of our regular items, but I'd imagine, I'm assuming a lot of people who do their shopping and pay attention to the prices, I'm assuming a lot of things have gone up, alongside diapers as well. So it's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. Talking murders in churches, really. Let me see. How are you from Detroit, but DP? Bays, man, what are we talking about, my man? He's a parrot. We celebrate John Booth coming back. Right. Oh, man. What else is going on? So check in with me. We have to get ready to dial back. I'm going to try to go back to my old. I think about putting a timer up there just so I can stay on somewhat on track, because we've been going close to an hour, and the goal is to try to get as much back and forth in the group as we can within our 30-minute time frame. So might get ready to dial back and check in tomorrow. Try to do like something a little bit earlier, and then I do a late night again. So, all right, people. It says China's ditching the dollar. Yeah, China. I mean, China, Russia. Those are the leading players, I believe, that have the most desire to further their de-dollarization policies, just because, you know, the dollar is basically it's a weapon now. They're shooting them things off in any form and fashion. And I actually was looking at some of the Federal Reserve charts and just seeing how everything is going up in a very unfortunate way. Let me see, what is it? M2 supply. I think it's the M2 supply, M2 money supply. That boy then went ballistic. And so let me see here. Let me pop this up here, and then I'll dial back with this one. Let me go to the federal funds, Federal Reserve. We see balance sheet. We go balance sheet first. And so pretty soon, I think the Federal Reserve will more than likely stop. They'll stop reporting on the size of their balance sheet as well as the M2 supply. When it gets too big, they're going to stop reporting on it, just because people at that point will know exactly. They'll put one and one together and realize that increased prices through the roof, as well as an exponential curve of the money going through the roof. They're going to put the one and two together and realize where the source of inflation comes from. I'm having a hard time pulling this up here. Money supply. Yeah, man. Anyway, but you guys see the charts. I'll put them up. Here we go. Nah, that's not it. Anyway, so y'all got, you know what I'm talking about. It's not popping up tonight. So they stopped showing the dollar index. They did. Oh, and then as well as M3, and there was something else. A couple other things that I tried to look for, and they stopped showing. They stopped showing the updates on that. Fed will not let crypto take over unless they control it. Yeah. Don't be surprised the Federal Reserve is not probably have already purchased and bought and puts a little Bitcoin on their balance sheet as well as an asset, because they will probably definitely get into the crypto game already officially as a way to make sure that the rest of the world doesn't do it, or China doesn't do it before them. So, but we got a call here. Let's take this last call, then we'll dial back for this evening. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Go on once, go on twice.
Hello, Mike?
Yes, hi there. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well.
This is John. I'm calling from Olympia in Washington State.
Olympia from Washington State. Okay, so give me the rundown on your neck of the woods. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I mean, we're right in the middle of all the craziness that's going on at night, but I'm calling in specifically to ask, kind of get your take on where we are, and kind of in light of last days, Book of Revelation type stuff, and in particular at the beginning of the tribulation in Revelation chapter 6, or what appears to be the beginning, definitely the beginning of that part of the Bible. It talks about the third horseman, talks about what appears to be global runaway inflation. And anyway, it just seems like that is potentially, right in front of us with, everything all the central banks have done since, especially since 2008, even, maybe even before that. Anyway, I just wanted to get your 2 cents on that and kind of
okay.
See what you thought about where we are, and maybe potentially in light of, in last days.
Okay, so I appreciate that question. And so I've given this a lot of thought over the last couple of weeks and months, and outside of things looking extremely uncertain, as well as, I think people can always do a good job of trying to pinpoint certain events in the Bible, from Bible prophecy, as well as future revelations of things. But for some reason, I really don't think that, other than just my gut feeling and just me, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're at that point to where we're going to see the complete end times, just because of several things. But when it comes to what's happening in Jerusalem now, I think the temple, the Temple Mount right now, still I'm not too familiar with it now, but I know that the Antichrist has not built that second temple where he's going to worship from or be worshipped from. So that right there plays a lot into, I think, end prophecies as well. So I'm not seeing that or hearing much about that. It's been a while since I've looked to study into it, but that one thing right there lets me know that I don't think we're at that point yet where the Antichrist will look to position himself and have the world come to him and da. So I think it's all in play, though. I think all this is heading to that, but I don't think we're there yet. And as far as Christ's return, nobody will know, but I just don't feel like that's where we're at now. Just because, things are bad, but it's not as bad as Revelations make it seem like it will be before Christ would come. So that's just my 2 cents there, man.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I'm really thankful for all you do, and all the best, man. Take care.
Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, boss call. Yeah, so great question, man. I appreciate that. And so what came to mind, I'm trying to actually find it now. I think it's Matthew, and let me see here. Let me see if I can find this scripture here that, just gives a little bit of a perspective as well. Okay, so here, I'm going to put this on the screen real quick. And this is something that I really have used and looked to as just another one of those indicators where it says in Matthew 24:14, it says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." And so right now, the gospel of the kingdom, referring to the message that Christ preached, is not being preached right now according to the way Christ preached it. So based upon that statement there, it says the gospel shall be preached unto all nations, and then the end shall come. And so, because a lot of people, I think that the message of the gospel of Christ is very distorted, that's another reason why I'm like, I don't really think, according to that there, I don't really think we're on track, because a lot of people are not even aware of the kingdom of God, already being here in the form of the Holy Spirit inside of us. So that's just another little tidbit that come to mind now that you mentioned that, where we currently at now. So for whatever that's worth. But anyway, last call. Let me get this, and then we will dial back if I'm able to. All right. So I'm not able to answer it. So all right. So I apologize for that. I'm trying to answer it, but it's not going through. So I'll try it again. So it'll help if I had a signal. So yeah, I apologize for that. So give me a call back. We'll get you on here, and then we'll dial off. It says you're not missing anything. No one knew what it says. No one noticed. It says New York will be hit again. She must first fall, or cup her sin runneth over. New York. Okay. Good thing there's an isolated island near India that has zero contact with the Bible. I can barely understand the Bible. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I can barely understand the Bible either. It's one of the things where you're not going to understand it in this lifetime. And so that's one of the things where it's meant to just get you through life into eternity. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kentucky, Mike. I've called you a couple of times there. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good. What's in your mind?
Basically, what I was going to... Can you hear me good?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. So what my comment was tonight is my business is... I do flea market, retail, and just going out, buying stuff, flipping it, making $2 and $3 here. But, you make $2 and $3 times by 10, you know what I mean? You get pretty decent. So you're not getting richer. But what I've noticed is we're not getting no items in the stores to be able to rebuy, to reflip. Like, mainly I do, like, clearance signs, so I'm in the stores all the time. And I don't know if it's a COVID thing or which I don't even believe in all that stuff anyway. But anyway, back to getting our products, it seems like that this trade war that they was talking about, and then that China's got that gold back currency now. I mean, could it be possible that they are just cutting us off with getting any of their materials or any of the things that we need that we get from them? Because in order for us, what Trump's going to do is a great idea to bring jobs back to America, but that takes time to build factories and stuff. The simple things that takes time. So are we going to be cut off from the things that we need that we was used to getting from China until we get our own infrastructure fixed to be able to make these things? Because I was reading that 97% of all of our cloth items comes from India and China. I mean, and then I've watched documentaries. Are the United States people going to take jobs for $8-9 an hour sewing jeans and things? Because I mean, if you look at the factories over in China, a lot of this stuff is not AI. It's like by hand. You know what I mean? Is our workforce capable of doing that? I don't know, because it's even hard to get products anymore. Like, there's nothing in the stores to buy. Are you noticing that? Is everyone noticing that? I mean, could we get some comments to notice that people's noticing shortages of tools, hardware, nuts, bolts, not so much of food items as it is hardware items that we need. You know what I mean? Vehicle products, keep our automobiles going, and just everything. I mean, it seems like it's just running out. What is it? What's going on?
Okay, so way to lay it out for us, because I didn't know about it in depth the way you described it, but definitely. I know the
all the time. You know what I mean? That's my business, to buy stuff and resell it.
Yeah. So I know to my knowledge, I think the major players like Walmart's and the Costco's. I haven't been in Costco in a while, but I know they still have stuff on the shelves. So any other smaller chains or whatnot, and I'm not sure. You mentioned I think flea markets as well. So I don't know. So the question is, are people not reselling or buying new products, and they're just holding on to the old stuff?
We're getting it. It's not in the store. Like my local Walmart, if you look at your end caps and stuff, they always put new stuff. And actually, I'm almost 40 years old, so it was some time of years ago when I worked at Walmart. I was in receiving, and we've done 4 trucks a night. And so I just asked questions like, how many trucks y'all getting tonight now? And they're like, man, we're just only getting one. They're end caps. It's all got older looking stuff in it. And then I do stuff at pallets. I do liquidation, and even the liquidation people, they're not getting the good quality. I mean, it's just it seems like I'm seeing all materials used to be on the shelves that is disappearing. That's not being restocked.
That could. And so based upon that information there, it sounds like you got the lowdown on what's happening. So I imagine that a lot of things are not making its way over here. So that could be signs of that. We are always anticipating a supply chain problem, but I was thinking more so when it comes to the food and all the other things. But definitely, the items you're referring to as well play into that as well. So. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, and I'll definitely, check in with the chat, and I'm sure people will leave us some thoughts out there as well. So appreciate the call, my friend.
All right, see you next time. Man.
Yep, be good. Yeah, man, good stuff there. So definitely, I would imagine. And so I saw a comment here about Tony says call blank selling shipping. Look it up. So when you apply at Walmart, they give you a test to see if you are a sheep. If you aren't, they won't hire you. All right. Well, hey, man, we're about to get ready to dial back. We're about that 40-minute point. So as always, it's good to connect. Sorry about connecting so late, but it's always good to hear from those that called in. As always, if you guys enjoyed the back and forth, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. As well as if you find anything important out of here, share it so family and friends can learn about it. And other than that, be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. And I will see you guys later. Peace.